Alrighty, we are live. Hello and welcome to all of you who are here, and to all of you who will be joining. So you're here. You've made it to my YouTube channel, on which I will be hosting our course this semester. If you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat. And I will be taking those as we go, as well as moving through kind of the important course policies, some things to be aware of, watch out for, as well as some things that are kind of coming in fast for the start of this semester. So I guess by way of introduction, my name is Josh. So I'm totally comfortable going by Josh. Also, I can totally answer to Professor Tolo Pilo. If that makes you more comfortable, I'm totally fine with either. And I'm going to be your general chemistry instructor for this next semester. So a couple things to get into about this class. So this semester, well, so let's see, I guess let's go ahead and talk synchronous versus asynchronous first. Also, if any of you guys have a question, totally dive in, ask it in the chat, and don't hold back at all. Okay, so here's here is just, let's start talking about Chem 400. So Chem 400 is the first semester in a two sequence course of general chemistry. Next semester's 401, and there are prereqs for this course. So the prereqs are there is an algebra and some sort of intro chemistry course. This could be Chem 305, which we teach here. Other colleges teach a class called Chem 100. It could be high school chemistry, but some sort of chemistry in your background is required for this course. Now, I am aware that for some of you it's been a while, right? You haven't taken chemistry in a minute, maybe several years, but you have it in your background, so you may be wondering how much of the prerequisite do we need to remember. And this is all, by the way, everything that I'm going over is highlighted in the syllabus, so you can totally check out the syllabus. It's up on Canvas. If you've waitlisted, I've emailed it to you. If you're crashing, at least those of you who have contacted me or are attempting to crash, I've sent you the syllabus as well. If you don't think you got it, shoot me an email, and I'll get it to you. I guess my email is published on FLC. Sorry, words are hard to use sometimes. On Folsom Lake College's schedule of classes, you can find my email there. Now, if you need to get a copy of the syllabus, email me, I'll shoot it to you. If you're already enrolled, it's on Canvas. Now, if you're wondering how much of the prereqs do we need to know, check the syllabus, because it lays out in explicit gory detail all the algebra that you should be familiar with. So check out the syllabus for that situation. If you're wondering about the intro chemistry, how much intro chemistry do you need to know? I will be going over a lot of the introductory stuff. So the first part of this class is going to feel like a lot of review, but I do that because it is a chemistry class, all right? And so you're here to learn chemistry. I'm here to teach chemistry. But there are some topics that I will not be explicitly covering and that I do expect you to know from your prerequisite course. And those topics are, you need to know the rules for sig figs. All right. If you are at all rusty with significant figures, you need to review that because I will not be explicitly going over that material. The second thing that I expect you to know starting day one is how to do unit conversions. All right. So of all the stuff you covered in your intro class, we will be going over all the important stuff except for sig figs, unit conversions. That's on you. If you're at all rusty, you need to review them. Now, fortunately for you, if you sorry, jumble of words here. Both of these, I have review videos on both of these topics. All right, and so one thing that's a little different this semester is I'm teaching this class asynchronously. So all the lectures are banked. All right, so in a normal semester, I would say I'm not going to cover it in lecture. You have to review these topics on your own if you're rusty with them. Now, except I made 2 review videos for each one, and they are there at the start of the Chem 400 lecture playlist. So if you need that review, it's there. If you know your sig figs, you know your unit conversions, you can just start at lecture 1. You don't have to watch them. Also, don't be afraid. These are 3-hour videos. They're not 3-hour videos though, but it'll say 3 hours. The reason why they're 3 hours is I did these during an open office hour. There was a lot of demand for, I want to see sig fig reviews. I want to see unit conversion reviews. So I held these giant office hour sessions, and on the front end of 2 different sessions, I did a sig fig review and then I did a unit conversion review. So when you see those videos, don't think, oh no, there's 6 hours of review material. There's not. Each one is about an hour, maybe an hour and a half of review material, and in the description of those videos, they're time stamped, so you can jump to each section if you're like, oh, I know that, but let me jump to the prefixes because I need to review that sort of situation. They've been time stamped for your convenience, so that'll be it's a little more user friendly. You can catch those on the channel playlist. All right, now the prerequisites for this class are very important, and so much so that there is available to take already on Canvas a Pre-Req exam. All right, and again, just like before, all the information about the prerequisite exam is present in the syllabus, but I just want to highlight a couple of things. I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. All right, so the Pre-Req exam it's open. It's open now. It closes this Monday at 11:59 p.m. All right. All exams close at 11:59 p.m., a minute before midnight. Every exam opens at 12 a.m. So it's open, available for you to take. It closes on Monday. Here's the thing. What's on this exam? Oops, whoa. There's Photoshop being janky. What's on this exam? Algebra, unit conversions, and sig figs. All right, algebra, unit conversions, and sig figs. This exam exists to give you, this is here to give you early feedback, to let you know how ready you are to take this class. If you take this exam and it was easy and you get an A, you've got what you needed out of your prereq courses. You're ready to start. If you get this thing and you get a C, you got the bare bones, but you got some work to do. If you don't pass the prereq exam, it doesn't kick you out of the class or anything, but what it tells you is you have an insufficient knowledge of the material that I'm just assuming you know. So it tells you how much review you need and whether or not you're starting at the place you should be, or if you're starting a little bit in a hole. All right. So that assignment, again, it's open right now. You can take it on Canvas, and it closes at 11:59 on Monday, the 25th. The second thing I want to talk about, and this one is arguably more urgent, is the syllabus quiz. Oh, excellent question. Excellent question here. Hang on, before we get to the syllabus quiz. Let's pop back to the prereq exam. Yes, Alexis, Malika. Oh, interesting. Okay. Jeff just let me know that the prereq exam is locked. Hang on one second. I'm gonna make a note. I thought it was available, but I will change that. I'll change that when we conclude our screen. Jeff, thanks for the heads up. Alexis and Malika, I hope I'm saying your name right. The prereq exam does affect your grade. It is given equal weight with every other exam. So each lecture exam, the final's worth more, but each lecture exam is worth it's worth 9.8% of your grade. All right, and again, if you remember all the prerequisite material, and this exam is based on just the bare bones you need for survival in this class moving forward. If you have that and if you're ready, then this will feel like a free 9.8%. If you're not ready, even if you've met the prerequisites, but if you don't have a command of the prereq material, then you're going to lose points, unfortunately. Is the prereq exam required? Well, so Malika, you could not take it. Nobody's forcing you to take the exam, but if you do, you'll get a 0 on 9.8% of your grade. So, and every assignment in this class, is it required? Nobody's forcing you to take each assignment or do each assignment, but if you don't do an assignment, you lose the points for the assignment. Does that make sense? So it's required in the sense that it's worth 70 points. It's worth 9.8% of your grade overall. So I hope that answers your question. I hope it's not, that's not too ambiguous. All right. Okay, so that is the Pre-Req exam. Let's talk about the Syllabus Quiz. Now, the Syllabus Quiz is located... Oops. It's located at the end of the syllabus. Hannah, will waitlisted students who are accepted later have a... Yes, okay, yes, Hannah, totally. So, Hannah, that is a great question. Hannah and Dylan, yes, you will have the same amount of time, time window to take the Pre-Req exam as the rest of the class did. So for waitlisted or crashing students who add late, what I do is I look at, okay, when did you get access to Canvas? And then I open it up for you for a 3-day window or a 2-day window. I can't remember exactly how much time it is, but the same window from when you get access to Canvas, you have that much time to take the Pre-Req exam. So you don't have to stress about like getting in before that happens or losing part of your grade. You'll totally have the same equal opportunity to take it as everybody who enrolled. Totally. So yeah, don't let that stress you out. So the syllabus quiz located at the end of the syllabus. It is based on, it's just a set of questions based on the content in the syllabus. It is due as a PDF upload. And let me pull, there we go. It's due tomorrow, Wednesday, at 11:59 p.m. And upload this is for Canvas. All right. So you want to upload that situation to Canvas by tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. If you are late, you will be dropped. And your spot will be given to a waitlisted student. Running out of space down here. All right, there is zero flexibility here. I'm not going to box it. If you are enrolled in the course and wish to remain enrolled in the course, you need to fill out the syllabus quiz and submit it as a PDF upload to Canvas. If you miss it, even by a minute, then you will be dropped from the class and your spot will be given to a waitlisted student who turned it in on time. All right. So this is a check to see not only who's responsive, but who's on top of it and paying attention to details. All right. That is a key to surviving an online course is not missing assignments, not missing deadlines. We'll get to the late policy, but there are no late assignments accepted in this class. So if you are not on top of this, you lose your spot. A waitlisted person who is on top of it will gain your spot. So if you want to remain, you've got to do this. All right, it's in the syllabus. I'm telling you now in the live stream. It's in Canvas in an announcement. There will be another announcement going out tomorrow. Let me know that you want to stay. All right. Let's see where we are. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about the prerequisites. There's required materials, obviously access to a computer that can handle YouTube, Canvas, and running the Beyond Lab software. I'm not going to talk about lab today because I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow, specifically covering the lab syllabus. Half the class is in my lab, half is in Professor Foster's lab. If you're in my lab, everything I say tomorrow applies to you. If you're not in my lab, some of the things I say may apply, but others may not, because specific course policies for labs are determined by the specific instructor. So if you're in Professor Foster's lab, he's the one who, sets the course policies for your lab class. Some of the things will be free. All right. Let's talk about time. Great question. Alexis, that is a great question. I was about to say, well, look to see who the instructor is in your lab course. That won't help you because Professor Foster and myself have both added each other to each other's lab courses for the purpose of sharing materials and collaborating. So we'll both show up in both of your sections. Here's how you know. So if you're in my lab section, my lab is listed asynchronous. And Professor Foster's is listed at as Monday, Wednesday 2 to 5. So if you see in your lab canvas that your lab section meets from 2 to 5 p.m., then you're in Professor Foster's. If it's asynchronous and there are no meeting times, then you know you're in my section. All right, let's talk about time. So we have this Chem 400, right? So as far as the course time, there's 3 hours of lecture and 6 hours of lab per week. All right, that's a total of 9 hours per week. All right, and the rule of thumb is 1 hour of class time for an average college class translates into 2 to 3 hours of study time. That means you want to be devoting somewhere between 18 and 27 hours of study per week. All right, and that doesn't include this rule of thumb, that 8 to 27 hours that's independent study. That's not watching lecture. That's working problems, writing lab reports, doing the active stuff. So that's the burden, and everybody's different. Some people need more, some people need less. You'll figure out how much you need, but in your mind, ballpark, you need to be looking at spending around 20-ish hours of study time a week in this class to succeed. And if you're not able to, it may impact your grade. Let's see. Okay, Nina, you're not the only one. I actually was receiving a couple emails asking, like, I don't know what's up with my lab. I haven't heard from my instructor, all that stuff. So you're not the only one. He should be opening Canvas soon, but send him an email. Alexis, where you find that information is on the FLC schedule of classes, or e-services, and it'll tell you, it'll say like Chem 400 lab, T Foster, and it'll say the lab period, the lab time, like 2 to 5, and if that section matches the section that you're enrolled in, then you know you're in his, and then you know you're in mine. Also, I believe my lab course is published on Canvas, so I believe you should be able to check that out. If you're in mine, you'll have access to that lab. All right, so this is the time investment per week you should be looking to do now. Couple things. So first off, this because this class is asynchronous, we will not have live meetings for lecture. That doesn't mean that you won't have access to ask me questions live. I will be hosting live office hours. I have not published those times, but I will be soon on our Canvas. They will be starting week 2. And so look to Canvas to see when those office hours are. If you can't make it to the available times, you can still email your questions. And I can answer them, so then you can go back and watch and see the explanation or watch me work through the problem. If you are emailing questions into office hours, have a subject line. You want to do 2 things. First, make your subject Chem 400 office hours. That way I don't miss it, because what I do before each office hour begins is I search my email inbox to see, okay, where are my Chem 400, I search Chem 400 office hours and see if because I get a lot of emails and it's possible that I missed yours, so I check that to see, did I miss any? If I did, well, if it fell through the cracks, that search shows me. If you title it something else, I won't necessarily find it. So make sure that's the subject line. And then also, the second thing to do is attach a picture of the problem. Like take a photo from the textbook. This just like helps me. 1, to see the context, but 2, it also makes it speedier, so I can click on it, look, okay, that's the problem. I don't have to find my textbook, open it up, find the problem. It makes for a more fluid office hour. So if you can attach a picture of the problem that you're having, that you want me to work, that would be awesome. And then subject line Chem 400 office hours. Let's see. I got to... Yes, okay, Alexis, sorry, totally. I'm just catching up on the chat. Everybody will have a lecture canvas and a lab canvas, so there should be two there. Okay. Let's see. So those are office hours. Those are times when you can access me live. All right, let's talk about lecture. Here's the deal. Because we're asynchronous, you can watch these whenever. All right, which is pretty cool. You get to do this class more kind of at your own pace. Why am I qualifying there? I recommend following the viewing schedule. In the syllabus. And the reason I recommend this is, oh my goodness. Hang on. The reason why I recommend you follow the viewing schedule is the exam dates are coordinated around the viewing schedule. And so staying up on with the viewing schedule will keep you on pace to have the material covered to take the exams on time. If you fall behind, the exams won't be pushed back. So you will have an exam on material that you are not prepared for. So that's why I recommend following the viewing schedule. You can watch ahead. You don't have to slow it down. Of course, I'm not going to open the exams early. The exam dates don't change. But you don't have to stick with the viewing schedule. You can go ahead. But I would strongly recommend not falling behind because then you'll take a hit most likely in the exams. All right, let's talk about so that's lecture. As far as communication goes, with me, you can expect, so for email or Canvas DM, both of them are totally fine. These are the two forms that guarantee a response, and I check my emails every day. Realistically, you can expect 24 to 48 hours of response time from me. Something to be aware of is I teach at three different colleges. I'm teaching 7 different classes across 3 different colleges, and so my email can go from busy to insane depending upon the week and the time in the semester and all that stuff. So I check my emails every day. I work through my queue every day, but the exact response time depends upon how deep my inbox is stacked. I was exchanging emails with several of you today that were like within minutes. So sometimes you can like get lucky and I'm at the computer, I'm working on my emails and there's nothing else there, so I can just pop right back. So sometimes it'll be very fast. But just realistically, give me 24 to 48 hours to respond. And just know that I am working through my queue. It just takes a while sometimes. Okay, let's see. So lab, I'm not going to say a ton because, again, tomorrow's a lab live stream. But the lab component of the course contains a mixture of videos, notebook keeping, calculations, electronic simulations, and Canvas quizzes and worksheets. I'll be talking about the specific policies for my lab section tomorrow. Professor Foster, I believe, will be holding his class tomorrow to talk about his as well. And just remember that he is the professor. He's king of his class. I'm king of mine. So I don't have any influence or say over the policies he chooses to adopt. So you should be aware of his. If you're in mine, you should be aware of mine. And I'll talk about mine tomorrow because it's only applicable to about half of you. Okay, let's talk about grades. There is both a lecture portion and a lab portion in this course. Lecture is 70% of your letter grade is determined by your lecture average, and 30% of your letter grade is determined by your lab average. Sorry for that pause. Typing and talking sometimes. I can't do them both at the same time. Okay, so grades, lecture and lab. Lab is worth 70% of your letter grade. Sorry, lab is worth 30. Lecture is worth 70. There are 2 lab canvases, lecture and lab. But at the end of the semester, the average that you have in each class will be taken into account according to this weighting. And that is where your your letter grade comes from. If you're wondering what your specific standing is at any moment in the course, here's how you calculate it. Your letter grade is equal to your lecture average times 0.7 plus your lab average times 0.3. All right. Multiply lecture by 0.7, multiply lab by 0.3, add them together. That is your overall standing in the class. It's inevitable. I get emails every semester where a student says, I have a D in lecture, but a B plus in lab. I don't understand why I'm not passing the class. Shouldn't a D and a B plus be a C? And it would be if lecture and lab were equal weight, 50-50, but lecture is weighed heavier, all right? So please don't be that person sending that email. Someone will, though. I explain this every semester, and every semester somebody does. The grading scale is, and this is again in the syllabus, 90 to 100 is an A. 80 to 89 is a B. Whoops. I don't know why I jumped straight to D. 70 to 79 is a C. 60 to 69 is a D. And hang on one second. Ran out of room just a little bit here. And if you have below $60, that's an F. The class isn't curved, and that's all there is to it. Wherever you fall in there is your letter grade. All right, let's just talk real quick. For lecture, No assignments are dropped. So you keep all of your exam scores, and late assignments are not accepted. All right, so these are two things that you need to be aware of in the course. You need to stay on top of the schedule. I have had students complain in the past saying like, but there was nothing in my Canvas calendar telling me to do it. Everything that you need is in the syllabus, and it's on you to make sure that you're aware of that schedule and following it. It doesn't matter what the reason or why you missed it. If you missed an assignment, including an exam, then you'll score a 0. So that's just the way it is. Another thing with the exams, you want to make sure, so they all close at 11:59. If you start it at 11:58, you'll have 1 minute to do the exam. All right, so you need to make sure you start it with enough time to complete it. If you don't, it still closes at 11:59 no matter where you are in the exam. It saves your progress and records your score, and that's it. So don't think that you can weasel extra time by starting the exam later. You're actually just giving yourself less time to complete it. Yes, that is correct, Alexis. There is homework. For the class, I assign problems out of the textbook at the end of each chapter. There are very good practice problems in the TRO textbook. I actually think it's one of the strongest parts of the course text. But that homework is not turned in, nor is it graded. It is there 100% for your practice. Part of the reason is the lab portion of the course has a lot of homework-like assignments, especially because we're in this kind of distance education world, because we can't physically walk into our lab and do our experiments. Lab instruction relies more heavily than normal on here's a worksheet, complete it, or here's a Canvas quiz, complete it, that sort of thing. There's lab reports, which will have worksheets or quizzes, and there are lab exercises, and so so those generate a lot of homework-like material, and I feel like adding more turned in and graded homework just creates busy work for you. You actually need time to study, but the homework problems that I have assigned are very good practice. They're one of the best ways to study for the test. Malika. So often in other classes, a professor will say, oh, I'll drop your lowest exam or whatever, or I'll drop your lowest quiz or something. A dropped assignment is an assignment that won't count towards your overall grade. But I don't have any of those policies. So oftentimes students will ask like, oh, will you drop my lowest test? Like, will my lowest test score not count towards my grade? And that's not the case in this class. It basically means that because I don't drop assignments, every assignment counts and every assignment impacts your final grade. Oops. Joshua, you have a cool name. Alexis, you're totally welcome. It's not available at the FLC bookstore. I've got some emails asking about it that I guess it's sold out. Here's the thing: pop on Amazon or eBay. You can find, because the third edition is not the new edition for the book. I did that on purpose because I think that new textbooks are a ripoff and extortion. At least that's how I felt about it when I was a student. The third edition of this textbook is not the newest one, and so you can find it on eBay and on Amazon for around $20. So, and if you dig harder, you might be able to even find it cheaper. I think I was seeing used copies of the hardcovers 20. There's soft covers out there. Anyways, Google it. Third edition. Any edition is fine. That's one question that I get fairly commonly is, can I do a second edition or a fourth edition? You totally can. The only difference is I've assigned problems out of the third edition, so the problems in the other editions won't necessarily match. However, the problems in every textbook are great. So if you have a fourth edition, because it was cheapest or could get there the fastest, and you just turn to the back and you're like, I need practice on redox problems. The redox section will be awesome. It doesn't matter if it's not hand picked by me. Like it's great practice no matter what. There we go. Joshes of the world unite. Oh my goodness. Did you see that? I have a drinking problem, I guess. Okay. Late and dropped assignments. Okay, let's talk about a couple things. First off, how are we doing? Not too bad. Okay. Let's talk about academic honesty. All right, we have a zero tolerance for plagiarism. For plagiarism or academic dishonesty of any kind. Malika, you're totally welcome. Any offense will result in a 0 on the assignment, may result in an F in the class. Academic dishonesty will be reported to the dean. Probation, suspension, expulsion may result. I want to talk about plagiarism. I knew I was getting that wrong. Plagiarism is presenting someone else's work as your own. All right. We have a zero tolerance policy for plagiarism in this class. Now, so that basically means, like, do your own work. Right? It's simple. That does not mean that you can't collaborate or work on projects together. All right. So here's the thing. Like, you totally should be talking to each other. You totally should be working together. When I assign in my section, when I assign lab data sets, there's a grouping of people that all will share a data set together. Find those people, connect with them, talk through the stuff. You should all be getting the same answer. If one of you isn't, somebody's done something wrong. So figure it out together. You know, like that collaboration process is awesome, and you should engage in it and do it. What you shouldn't do is take photos of someone else's work and upload it as if it's your own. All right. So work together, collaborate with each other, but make sure that all of your work came out of your hand, came out of your brain. That's plagiarism. So I have to say, when I was a student, my biggest pet peeve, the thing that I hated more than anything else, was when a professor gave a take-home exam and said, "Don't talk to anybody, don't use the internet, don't look at the book. You just have to take it." Because it felt like a moral dilemma that was designed to just punish the honest people in the room, because someone who's like, okay, I'm not going to do anything like that, everybody else is doing it, and so you're at a disadvantage because you're not. So here's the thing: we're doing distance education stuff, and if we were all in class, I could say, okay, we're taking an exam in class, and I'm sitting in the room with you. So I see that you got 80 minutes to take it, and I see that I make sure everybody's cell phone is put away, and it's fine. But in this kind of distance education world, there's no way to ensure that. Plus, this is asynchronous, so you don't even have to take the exam all at the same time. So here's my test taking policy. All right, let's talk exams. All right. Exams are open note, open book, open internet. They're even open other humans. All right. It's open everything on the exams. There's no restrictions because I have no way of holding everyone to the same standard. So if I say, oh, don't use this, some of you will, some of you won't. And I'm just disadvantaging the honest ones, right? So I'm not putting any restrictions on it. But I want to tell you a little bit about how my exams are structured. All right. So this may sound like a free-for-all, and this may sound like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the easiest thing in the world. Because I put so few restrictions on my exam, there are other areas where they're ratcheted up. Time is at a premium. All right. These exams are written with a highly ratcheted up time crunch. All right. So they're going to be very challenging. You're not going to be able to Google step-by-step tutorials on how to do each problem, because if you do, by the time you've finished one problem, you're going to have lost so much time that you're not going to be able to complete the rest of the test. So your mindset heading in is you need to practice so that doing these problems are second nature, and problem solving is second nature, because if it's not, you will run out of time. All right. The other thing that I use on my exams are, oops, write exams back up here. The other thing that I use are problem banks. This is a way of ensuring that each student's exam is unique. So, for example, let's say there's a problem on, let's say there's a unit conversion problem. A unit conversion problem that converts, let's say, meters to, I don't know, kilometers. There isn't 1 meter to kilometer unit conversion problem. This is coming out of a larger, each student's exam gets one problem drawn at random from a larger bank of problems that are all the same difficulty but are individually different. As a result, you won't be able to say to your friend, hey, what did you get for the meter to kilometer problem? Because theirs was totally different. I mean, they could tell you the answer, but it won't be the answer to your problem. The other thing is the order of problems in which they're presented. The problems are randomized. So your problem number 2 was kilometers to meters. That could be their problem number 28. So it's going to be different for each of you. So the order is jumbled, and then the individual problems are randomly selected out of a larger bank. On average, so I give several different exams, and you'll see I post this information. Oh, wow. There we go. On average, the chances of 2 exams sorry, 2 exams having the same problems is, and it's different for each exam because some have larger banks, some have smaller banks, but it usually is around 0.0011%. So here's the thing is, it's not going to avail you to ask your lab partner, your friend, what they got on what problem. Another strategy that you might be thinking is like, oh, like, one person could take the exam early and tell the rest of us what was on it. I post breakdowns of what problems are on there, what percentage, right? So you'll know like how much sig figs, how much unit conversions, how much algebra, for example, for the Pre-Req exam. I tell you the breakdown of like how much are in each, how many problems you'll have, how much time per problem you should average, all that stuff I tell you. So someone taking the exam early won't tell you anything that I haven't already posted to Canvas. And the specific problems they were doing are going to be different than the ones you dished out anyway. So that's how I kind of offset the fact that the exams are so kind of open. Is kind of with problem banks and etc. One thing that I highly encourage you to do is to prepare. Prepare an equation sheet. This will save you so much time if you take the time before an exam to build an equation sheet, all the algebraic expressions that you might need, constants, like write down Avogadro's number, and all the ones we've been using in lecture leading up to an exam. This will save you time on the test, and the act of making it, of organizing all this information, is a great way to study for it. So some students will ask, like, do I provide an equation sheet? Do I provide a periodic table? The answer is no, but you can assemble one yourself, like the Avengers. And the act of putting that material together will help you do better on the exam. So I highly recommend this as a time-saving effort because, again, if you are looking this material up during the exam, you're losing time. And you may not be able to complete it or be more rushed than normal. All right. That's about all I want to say about testing. Though if you have any questions, I totally answer. Let's talk about getting help. So the FLC Tutoring Center is alive. It is free and online. All right, there is help from students who have passed this class successfully, who are waiting to help you. And of course, you can hit me up at my office hours, and I will be posting those no later than tomorrow. Khan Academy, another great resource, online, free. Hit it up; it will totally help you out. All right. One thing that's crucial for some of you, if you qualify for DSPS, please get me your accommodation letter. Please get me your accommodation letter ASAP. I can program qualified accommodations into Canvas, but I can't do it based on word of mouth. I need to have a copy of your official letter. I need to know 1 week before an exam date. I realize that the Pre-Req exam is live. So if you need it for the Pre-Req exam, I can work with you, but you got to get it to me. You got to get it to me fast. But let me know if you need an accommodation. I want to make sure that that need is met, and I can get it done. I just need to see. I need confirmation from DSPS. All right. Let's see. Okay, let me make sure I'm not. All right. I have, so that is it. Look at us. We're clocking in at about 1 hour. That is pretty much hits everything I want to say. Do you have any questions for me? Before we go. Don't forget, we have I am holding a lab info stream. Which will drop, oh, hang on. Tomorrow, same place, same time. Ah! Oh yes, I am going to, it was brought to my attention earlier in the stream that the Pre-Req exam is still locked. I'm going to unlock that once we're done here, so that it'll be ready to go. Totally. Okay, so how do we get in touch with the tutoring center? Camila, that is a great question. I have never used it before. Let's see. Here we go. So there is a whole FLC tutoring page. I'm just looking at it right now. There's a link to schedule an online tutoring appointment. How to do it. It looks like they're doing it over Zoom. Tutoring services. There's reading, writing, English, math, science. You can even become a tutor. So all the info is right there on that page. Sorry, Alexis. Oh, yes. Okay, right. So Alexis, yes. So my stream tomorrow is explicitly for my lab. In this sense, any specific policies like late policies or all that stuff only applies to mine. That being said, the overall structure of the course, Professor Foster and I are using the same eLab setup. We're doing the same. Our quiz setup is the same. Our format, whether a lab is using watch this video or do this Beyond Labs interactive simulation, all of those are going to be identical. So even though there's some information that won't apply, like specific course policies, due dates, all that stuff, but other information will apply as far as like structure, how they're set up. So that information will apply to both sections. Again, these attending these aren't mandatory, obviously, because it's asynchronous. But you should also know that that stream will be available on YouTube for you to view at any time you want. Afterwards, I'm going to add both of these to the Chem 400 channel playlist, so you'll be able to find them there. You won't have to go digging for them if you want to find them at a later period. All right, cool. Well, if there are no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Oh, let's see. Camila, it totally will be recorded and posted to the channel. YouTube takes about like a day-ish for it to be visible right after streaming, but I found a kind of workaround that even though it won't get, the live stream video doesn't get posted to the channel for about a day under the most recent videos, it does show up pretty much instantaneously if I've added it to a channel playlist, which I will be adding it to the Chem 400 channel playlist, so you'll be able to see it there once the stream concludes, and then eventually it'll show up under the recent videos. Okay, another question from Alexis. For lecture, should we watch the videos on here? Alexis, great question. So great question. So Alexis's question is, do I recommend reading the book first and then watching the lecture videos? Do you watch the lecture videos and then read the book? And honestly, that is an experiment that you'll have to run for yourself, because everybody learns differently and there are different ways of processing information. For me, I'm heavily auditory in my learning style. So for me, as a student, I could never read the book. I mean, I could, but I wouldn't get a lot out of reading the book if I read it before lecture. But for me, because I have such an auditory kind of mode of learning, I would go to lecture, hear the lecture, then read the book afterwards, and it would help reinforce it and make so much sense. To someone who might be more visual, reading the book before lecture may be a lot more useful if you're more visually inclined. So really, it comes into play. The textbook is a study tool for you to use however it best serves you, but you don't have to have it. The content is based on the book. The content of my lectures are based on the book. And the book offers excellent practice problems. And I guess that's one thing that I didn't really hammer earlier in this stream, but I just want to say it. When you are getting tested in this class, you're not being tested on the number of times you watch the lecture video. Because I get emails often from students who are saying, I don't understand, I didn't do well on the test, and I watched every lecture at least 3 times, sometimes more. The thing to remember is you are not getting tested on your ability to watch lecture videos. You're getting tested on your ability to solve problems. So if you are not actively attempting to solve problems in your study, in your practice, you're not going to do well on the exam. What I recommend doing is when I get to a problem, when you're watching lecture and you get to a problem, all right, example on the page, pause it, or don't pause it then because you won't see what the problem is. Let me write the problem out, which I do for every problem. Let me write it out, try to solve it. Pause the video, try to solve it without seeing my explanation for it. If you can't, maybe watch the video a little bit, give yourself a start, then pause. See if you can actively engage and do it on your own. And what you'll find is at the beginning, it might be kind of halting, it might be kind of difficult, but the more you practice solving on your own, the more fluid that motion will become. And you want it to be like grease lightning, because on the exam, you're in a time situation, and I'm testing you on how well you can solve problems. So that should be your absolute focus. And in fact, I'm going to write it on the board on every exam. You are being tested on your ability to solve problems. All right, that should be your focus all semester. That's what office hours is great for. I'll be posting those soon when I'm available. And office hours will just be here. I'll be hanging out. I'll be on YouTube. You can email your questions in or ask them in the live chat, and we'll get into it. We'll go through them. All right, it's going to be a great semester. I'm so happy you all are here. This is it for today. I'll catch some of you on the flip side. And I'm going to pop over to Canvas, check out the open up the Pre-Req exam, because apparently it's closed right now. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. It was great to see your lovely avatars in the live chat, and I'll be in touch soon. Later.